Hello, this is Mezaka with another tutorial. Today's tutorial is about low-poly kind of materials. So we're gonna have a look how to make this roof material that I used for the houses that I recently made, and also on these wood materials as well as this cobblestone wall. Yeah, so let's jump right into it. I'm gonna duplicate my lamp to a separate layer and add a new plane. What I'm gonna do is I will make one of these parts of the roof, and so I'm gonna go into the edit mode and just scale it in one dimension to make it a bit stretched, and then I'm gonna extrude it and move one side of it upwards. So this is essentially one of the pieces of my roof. What I'm then gonna do is use an array modifier, and I'm gonna have 30 in this dimension as well as a second array modifier that makes 10 in the dimension, and that gives us a small square of these parts. If you really want to use this, I would recommend you like using higher numbers, because you can create bigger roofs with it, but that's just for the tutorial for now. It won't even take much longer to create bigger ones. So I'm gonna scale this so it is in the view of our camera. And now this, if I just give a roof material to this would look rather boring and unrealistic, because you just have some stripes essentially, and that doesn't really look appealing. So what we're gonna do is I will hit the spacebar, which is the key for searching for other commands if you didn't know, and I'm gonna type in select random, hit enter, and go up to maybe 5% roundabout. Then I'm gonna hit Control L, and now I have selected maybe around about half of the parts. So, and what I'm then gonna do is move them up a slight bit. Then I'm gonna deselect everything, do the same thing again, and move them a bit down. Now it's selected different ones, which already gives us this really kind of interesting and randomly affected roof material. Okay, if we now render this already looks way better. This could work as a roof, but what I like to do is give it more interesting materials. So let's add 2 more roof materials. They have like slightly different colors. If you look at the color tab here, you can see that it changes a really tiny bit, but that's enough for it to really modify it in a way that it looks good. So I'm gonna again select random parts of it, select the second material and hit assign, but already added some randomness to it. I'm gonna do the same thing again with the third material, hit assign again. I'm gonna do that a couple of times so that we really mix this up. And truth 2. I guess this is better. yeah, I really like this roof, and it's done. That's all that's to it. Just some single parts of it being stacked and then randomized. There's nothing more to it. So hopefully you can use this as well in your next Lowpoly scene. And we're gonna jump right into the next material, which is this kind of very easy wood material. I have some wood materials that I always use for my scenes, and this is one of them. It's very easy to do. You probably could figure it out on your own, but I'm just gonna do it anyway so you can see how it works. So I just created a plane, extruded it, then I'm gonna select the inner face, which is, oh no, yeah, it's already right. Just delete those two faces and extrude this so that we get a frame. I always like to put this material into a frame because it doesn't look that good on its own. So then I'm gonna create another plane, move it a bit up. Then I'm gonna hit Control R, which gets me some loop cuts. Then I can scroll up to create more loop cuts. Then I'm just gonna select every second one over here, and yeah, there's one hidden in there as well. Then I'm gonna move them a bit up. Move everything a bit down. And that's almost it. Let's assign a simple light wood material to it, as well as some darker kind of wood. That's almost it. What I do then is I normally randomize this frame. So I'm gonna hit, let's see, no. It's a bummer that this screencast keys is not included in the new Blender version. Let me check if I can find it really quickly for you. Okay, it turned out it's not as easy as I thought. It's installable from a separate file that I would need to download and everything. So I guess I will install it for the next time. But right now I'm just gonna hit Control R again and add 2 loop cuts on every side. Then I'm just gonna randomize it. I guess it's quite a bummer that they removed that add-on, because it was really handy if you wanted to just make a tutorial really quickly. Okay, so everything's randomized and this should look quite good as a material. You can use this, for example, for doors or something. Quite handy. Next one is this kind of wall wood material that we are gonna make. Really easy to do as well. So let's just do it. I'll set the cursor to the center because it got out of center. Gonna scale everything, extrude it, remove the face, extrude the outer part, and then assign a darker kind of, no, this kind of material. Okay, what we're then gonna do is we're adding a cube, scaling it in the Z direction. Yeah. Then I'm gonna just scale it in this direction as well, so that it just looks like a plank. It depends on the scale of the scene and everything, of course, but so now I'm just duplicating it. I guess I'm gonna remove this one down here, and then just add loop cuts again. I guess randomizing these things is the most important part, because these randomized things really distract the eye from the scene, which is kind of important, because in other parts of modeling, you always have textures and such things to really add a lot of information to the scene, but right here you just have the kind of materials that you create by hand. So you should really put some time into it. Then I'm randomizing the height of it as well, because I think that might do something as well. And then just randomizing the frame again. Which you don't have to do, but I personally think it's quite a good thing to do. So, really easy wood material. I think we could even move these even more to make them more interesting, but that's like fine-tuning kind of work. That isn't that necessary, but you can do that. Next one, very interesting, this kind of roof material that I also used for a couple of scenes. I guess the fisherman's house and the red kind of house I made. Again, really easy to do. I'm gonna duplicate this lamp and add a plane. Extrude this and scale it in the X dimension a bit. Yes, okay. Then select everything, scale it in the Y dimension, so that it gets very long. Scale it down. Maybe scale it a bit in the Z direction as well. Put it over here, get an array modifier. I guess the array modifier is one of the most important modifiers. So if you haven't looked into that, go for it. First I want to add the loop cuts, of course. So hit apply, and then we have all the loop cuts as well. When I'm hit O for this kind of dynamic modeling, and that helps me randomizing these a bit without creating any holes in the roof or something, and making it way faster, because if you were to randomize every single one of these, I guess it would take ages. Yeah. What we can also do is maybe intentionally put some holes into it if we want to. Just because there might be a leak in the roof. If it's a very old house, you always want to add these. What I did with the fisherman's house, I added some planks on top of it again to like fixing it up, like the person who lived there wanted to fix the roof again, and that's what he did. So gonna randomize the edges as well a bit. Want to have these randomized, and then I'm gonna go out of the dynamic modeling. I'm gonna add some, or select some of these parts over here. Just select them randomly. Try to not create any patterns. Sometimes patterns are random, if that makes any sense, but you always want to want them to be quite evenly distributed. So, oops, deselected everything. Yeah, and just select some of them. I'm just gonna do this for one side of the planks. If you want to do it on both sides, go for it. That's good. And yeah, that's it. Now we are again adding a couple of materials so that it looks more random. I already prepared these materials, but I guess it shouldn't be too hard to create a simple diffuse material for you. Yeah, and just randomize this. There's too many in one row. You can also like manually select 2 of those and assign a new material so that it looks more random. And that's it. Really nice roof material that you can use on any wood cabin. And now this, which is probably the hardest material I figured out for my Lowpoly stuff. I made this for like the castle and the red house and similar things. I guess I would remove these smaller parts before I would really use it. But I'm gonna show you that. What I did is I centered the cursor again, because that's always handy. By the way, it's Shift S to set the cursor to something or move something to the cursor. Really handy. Then I'm gonna add a cube, scale it a bit so that it does look like a cobblestone wall. You can also like create a bridge if you were to. You can just like do this. But right now I'm just gonna add some loop cut so that it's like squares almost. You don't need perfect squares, like this size is roundabout good. Squares is not so important, but you need some geometry to work with. Then you have to go to File, User Preferences. Where is it? Over there, right. And search for the Cell Fracture add-on and enable this over here and just save user settings, and then you can close it again. And that gives you this little button on the tools list, which is the Cell Fracture button. You can do a lot of things with this. I'm not gonna look over everything right now. The best way I figured out to make cobblestone walls is just to add a high noise part. 0.94 is what I used here, but everything around like 0.9 should work fine. You have to like experiment a bit with how many source limits you want to give. Just experiment a bit. It works after a while. I added 1 recursion and a bit of randomness as well. And what that does is it creates another object on the next layer, or a bunch of objects. And I'm gonna remove the old one and just move all the new ones back to our scene. Do we already have a lamp? No. Let's duplicate the lamp as well, so that we can see what we are doing. Right now this is just a box. So I'm gonna select all these using the C select brush. That should work fine. Select one of the parts in particular with Shift and right click and join them together to a single object. Then I'm gonna select everything, remove the doubles. I think there's a tab in the self-factor where you can do that over there, but I just like this way to make it manually. Okay, yeah, and then I'm gonna separate them again a bit by loose parts, so that makes every single one of these blocks a single object again. And then just select everything. For the pivot point, select individual origins and then scale them. Wait, why doesn't it work? Select them. Oh, okay, back. I messed something up. Before you join them together, this was the first state. You now have to set it to individual origins and then scale it a bit down. I guess you can't really do that afterwards, or it's harder to do it afterwards. Yeah. Then join them all together. Remove, wait, caps lock. Remove doubles. What I did then is, I mean, you could use this as a cobblestone material. That can work. But what I did was I added subdivision surface modifier and increased the, like, select everything and decrease the mean increase a bit, so that they still look like stones. Maybe increase this as well. Oh, maybe a bit less. Like 0.6 should work fine. Yeah, that should work. Then hit apply on the modifier. And then I'm gonna add a decimate modifier to make it more low-poly again. So just, ooh, it's working quite hard. Lag. Ooh. So move this a bit up. Let's say 0.1. 0.1 should be valid number. But still too much because you can see all these small little details. So 0.02. Yeah, I like that. It's better. Apply it and then it should run more smoothly again. You can also use the decimate and the planar version of it. So maybe set it to 10 degrees, hit apply, and that should make it look better as well. Just, yeah, try to make it look like stone. If it doesn't really work or it has some flaws like this one, I'm not really sure how this... Oh, that is weird. Let's triangulate everything. You just have to clean up the geometry again a bit, which is not so fun, but apply it. Yeah, I guess that's better. But it should do. Okay, so this is the cobblestone wall that I would have created. It wouldn't really fit in a game because it still has too many triangles and doesn't really work very well. And I guess I'm gonna remove this part over here because it looks like it floats, and so just like it's broken down or something. That just works if you remove some of these stones. It also adds some randomness, which is good, essential. But yeah, that's it. Oh, no. I have to remove that. Okay. And then you can again get bunch of materials. I always use 3 materials, so that you have a normal one, a darker one, and a lighter one, essentially. Select random again, but you have to get a very low number for this one. Like 1% is almost too much, but I'm gonna go with it just to get the tutorial to an end. Yeah, I guess that works. And there you have your cobblestone wall, which for so small things you could also do something like that by hand, but for very large structures, for like a castle or something, it's very handy. Okay, those were the materials I wanted to show you how to do. If you want to, check out my tutorial on Lowpoly or on Lowpoly landscapes in particular. If you enjoyed, let me know, write a nice comment or something. And yes, see you next time. Bye.